Hello everyone, this is Anupama T. I'm here before you to present my poster. I'm a PhD Linguistics and Phonetics student at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, India. Moving on to my poster presentation. My poster is titled, "Is Humor a Socially Conditioned Reflex? A Survey Analysis." A brief introduction to my research survey. This is a sociolinguistic survey conducted to understand the evolution of language and bad joke. We consider the social hierarchical system existing in the Indian society to understand the evolution of language revolving around the context of joke and the acceptability and unacceptability of morally and socially questionable jokes in the Indian society. We also evaluate whether our humor is a socially conditioned reflex or not. The research questions we probe into in our survey are: does social hierarchy play a role in making a joke acceptable or non-acceptable in a society? Can language tools be used to manipulate jokes into good or bad? Are people in Indian society expressing their unacceptability towards socially and morally questionable jokes? Have language revolving around the context of jokes evolved in India? The literary theory we use in a survey paper is benign violation theory proposed by Caleb Warren and Peter McGraw in the year 2010. A brief introduction to benign violation theory. Benign violation theory (BVT) was proposed by Caleb Warren, a professor in consumer behavior at the University of Arizona, and Peter McGraw, an American professor of marketing and psychology at the University of Colorado Boulder in the year 2010. According to benign violation theory, humor occurs only when three conditions are fulfilled in a certain situation. The three conditions are: a violation occurs, the situation is benign, and the prior two conditions occur simultaneously. So, what is a violation? Violation is something that put a threat to someone's perception of how the world ought to be. For a violation to lead to humor, it also needs to be perceived as benign. So what is benign? Benign is something that is regarded as acceptable, safe, and or non-threatening. Thus, both benign and violation are individual choices. But how? Because for an individual, a certain situation might be benign, while for someone else it may not be. Thus, an individual alone can decide whether a situation is benign or not. In this research paper, we look into the psychology of the speaker of a joke and the audience of the joke to understand the humor working out in the Indian context. We know that India is a multi-diverse country. The data collection method used in this research paper is to send out online survey questions through various media platforms, including emails, WhatsApp status, messages, Instagram status, Instagram DMs, Facebook status, Facebook messages, ordinary messages, etc. The age category involved in this survey are 18 to 29, 30 to 49, and 50 plus. The gender category involved female, male, and transgender. Data, elicitation and findings. We received a total response of 76. We received the maximum responses from the age category 18 to 29, which is 64. From the age category 30 to 49, we received 9 responses. And from the age category 50 plus, we received the least response, that is 3. The females were the maximum participants in this survey, which is 57. There were no responses received from the transgender community. There were a total of 31 questions, which included age, gender, any suggestions, comments, or extra input, etc. We used the random sampling method to collect data from various participants. Further on, from all the responses that we have received, we randomly selected 4 participants from each age category, which includes 2 females and 2 males each. In the case of the age category 50 plus, we had no choice. We only received 3 responses, out of which 2 are from females and 1 from male. Thus, we had to use those 3 limited responses into our survey. Here we move on to certain important questions which decided on the conclusion of this survey. Moving on, do you ever joked about the following? Body shaming, character shaming, identity shaming, which includes gender, sex, sexual orientation, religion, caste, color, race, etc. Not applicable, others. In the category others, we received 2 responses. One was, I used all of the above when I was young and not anymore. The second response was, jokes should not be considered good or bad, ethical or unethical. The whole point of joke is that anything goes. Do you ever had to pretend to enjoy a joke that you felt unacceptable just because of the higher social hierarchy of the speaker of the joke, which includes elder, parent, teacher, employer, media persons, politicians, social media influencers, etc. Do you ever had to pretend to enjoy a joke that you felt was unacceptable just because the speaker or listener is your friend or fellow? Have you come across any instance where a particular joke is considered bad in a specific language or dialect but acceptable in specific another language or dialect? Have you come across any situations where the speaker manipulated a bad joke using language tools to satisfy a higher social hierarchical audience? Do you think that a joke's acceptability can depend on how they use language to convey the idea? Have you come across any sentences, phrases, or words that was neutral in the past but now is being used in the context of joke? Do you think that we engage with jokes depending on the social hierarchy of the listener or speaker? Have you ever laughed at a joke which you later came to realize as a toxic? What could be the possible reasons why you had not previously realized that particular joke as toxic? Social status of the speaker involved, language tools used by the speaker, exposure you received, your ideologies and priorities, any other. In the option other, we received a responses as, I really don't believe in the idea of a toxic joke. Jokes are not made to tutor people on ethical values. The purpose of a joke is to have an unconditional joke. The other response was age or childhood. Have you ever come across people justifying a toxic joke because of the social status of the speaker involved? What are the explanations you had come across in such a situation to justify the said toxic jokes? Social status of the speaker? Take joke as a joke. Don't always look into the political correctness, differences in the dialect or individual use of the language. Have you come across situations where people manipulated toxic humor using various language tools? Do you think that language associated with the social status of the speaker make a joke acceptable or unacceptable? How would you evaluate the evolution in the context of humor considering India as a developing country? People enjoy jokes that are socially acceptable. People enjoy jokes that are morally acceptable. People enjoy jokes according to audience social status. People enjoy jokes according to the speaker's social status. People enjoy jokes according to the hierarchical difference between speaker and listener. And other. In the option other, we received a response as, the option shows a bias from the researcher to prove that there is a hierarchical or ethical dimension to enjoy joke. These factors matter only in theory among academics and intelligentsia. People simply live the moment to enjoy jokes, and no one would be able to, if not, no one would be able to laugh at oneself. Do you think that language revolving around the context of joke has evolved? How would you consider the evolution of language in jokes considering India's diversity? Language of jokes has been conditioned to match the social hierarchy. Language of jokes has been evolved to match the social acceptability of jokes. Language of jokes has been evolved to match the multilingualism in the society. Other. In the option other, we have received a response as, the language of the jokes are in a continuous process of evolution with the many changes happening in the society. Some of the limitations to the study are, we have very lesser respondents from the age category 30 to 49 and 50 plus, especially in the category 50 plus, as we had received only 3 responses. There were no responses from the gender category transgender. There were very less responses from males as compared to females. The survey also lacked examples of jokes to each question and left the participants' evaluation from their own day to day experiences. This could be viewed as both a positive and negative to this research. It is positive in the fact that the participants could go back to their own personal experiences that they have come across right from their childhood to adulthood to evaluate each question and further give their response. It is a limitation in the idea that with the lack of example, the survey might be generic, at least for some people. Conclusions to our study: people engage in jokes depending on the social hierarchy. People pretend to enjoy jokes of speakers from a higher hierarchy. People, even when they know that a particular joke is morally or socially questionable, still would laugh at it and pretend that they enjoy it just because the speaker of the joke have a higher social status than them. Tools is used to manipulate jokes. Language is an important component in expressing humor. We have seen from our responses that people see that the speakers switch between languages to express their idea of humor. They use interjunctions in between humor. There are words, terms, or phrases which were previously neutral but now that are being used in the context of joke. People have started expressing their non-acceptance to bad joke, even though very minimal. These are the references to my survey. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I have communicated well my research paper with you. If you have any further questions or queries, please do reach to me. Thank you once again.